Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Snarf Consortium podcast, episode 1. Last week was the inaugural. It was the episode 0 of the podcast, and it took place on December 25th. Yeah, Christmas Day. It is now December 30th, 2025. One of the last few podcasts that will be recorded in 2025 before the new year. So I figure, why not get my second episode in, or my first real episode in and on the bags. This has a couple new tech features. I'm actually recording with actual recording software with via Reaper, and not just using the MP3 file from OBS for the video podcast section. To be honest, it's been a fairly small week. I don't even have a full week of stuff behind me, and everything that I've been doing has I haven't been able to do much. We'll just put it that way. I have not been able to do very much at all. That is no fault of anything. I think it's just how things happened. Instead of streaming on the Saturday and the Monday, I only was able to stream one of my days off, and that was Monday, or yesterday. I didn't stream until later in the evening, and that stream was predominantly taken up by me eating some of the punishment sandwiches that came aboard due to me missing some previous challenges from the previous punishment wheel. There were some sandwiches that were better than others. I think that the mascarpone ice cream sandwich thing that I ate on sourdough, apart from the sourdough, it was fairly inoffensive. I mean, it was mascarpone cheese, which is, I think that is the first time that I've actually can remember myself eating mascarpone. It was not as sweet as I was expecting. I was expecting something a lot more akin to cream cheese compared to what I got there. So that was relatively interesting. And then we go to it had shredded coconut. I ended up using Rocky Road ice cream, and it was on sourdough. I mean, it was a pretty basic, like, poor man's version of an ice cream sandwich, and it turned out okay. I would say that apart from the sourdough, I think you could recreate that sandwich into something fairly edible. It's like a struggle meal. If you're like really jonesing for a ice cream sandwich, I think you could probably do worse than what I had. And I did do worse by the second sandwich, which was a toasted white bread, cheese, tuna, lettuce juice, feta, and M&Ms. I ate about 3/4 of that sandwich before I had to stop, and I've been paying for it this entire day at work because I've been having acid reflux. My stomach has been grumbling ever since, no matter what I put into it or what I don't put into it. Oh my God, that was among the tasting of the sandwich and eating it wasn't as bad as I would have thought. It was less bad than the tomatoes and Mentos and chicken thigh sandwich. But the aftermath of that sandwich was horrendous, to say the least. It made me regret quite a few things. But yeah, that was Monday, and then about the only game that I played was Builderment on that day. I got an hour of Builderment in. I think I mainly spent that hour getting back up to snuff with the 2 hours I had previously put into Builderment from the previous challenge. And I've got 4 more hours ahead of me before we are finished with Builderment. So it's not terrible, I was able to get up to speed with increasing production to the point where I'm making enough metal plates and wooden frames to make metal frames. And I was able to string along a very, very rudimentary industrial factory setup to start computers so that those will start going forward. I think the biggest thing that I have a problem with Builderment is it's really interesting. It's a very basic factory game. I don't know. I've only played the one file. I haven't started any new files, so I don't know if it randomly generates the world or if everyone gets the same world with the same resource patches or anything. But the logic systems that I want to play through in my head that have been ingrained in me since playing games like Factorio and Satisfactory and a couple of other factory building games, I guess I'm not seeing those same concepts being carried into Builderment, which makes me a little sad because the biggest thing that I want to do is a belt splitter. And I guess I have like a poor man's way of belt splitter in that I have in Builderment, you have this one tile that you can feed a belt into it in one direction, and then it will evenly split it in 3 ways. Maybe that is exactly what I'm wanting in terms of a belt splitter. But all the time, all the things, and now that I think about it, actually, that is actually very reminiscent of how it happens in Satisfactory. I am just of the mind with Factorio, where a belt splitter is you put a conveyor belt into one side and it just evenly splits that belt into others. Or you could have it come the reverse way where you have 2 belts going into it and then it will combine them into a single one. I don't have a way right now that I can see to filter objects as well, which is a little frustrating because I want to be able to filter. I want to be able to build a main bus, and I don't think Builderment has the. I think you could build a main bus style system in Builderment, but I don't think it's going to be as efficient or as flexible as what you would be able to make in Factorio or something. So there's just some things that I like about Builderment. It's very simple. It is a good introduction to factory builder games, but it's not quite up to the point that I am enjoying it, if that makes sense. I don't dislike my time with Builderment. I am looking forward to the next 4 hours I have to play on that title, but I do feel a little boxed in or constrained with how I want to be building my factory compared to what I'm actually doing. So that's Builderment has honestly been the primary game that I played. The other games that I've played, on Saturday, Xmas came over and I made the decision on Saturday to not stream any games. It was my day off, and usually when I have a day off, I do a big day off stream or just a big day off stream. And I stream for like 10, 12 hours. I didn't do that on Saturday. I took that entire day to basically try and get my house back in order, get caught up on a few chores here and there. I didn't get done with as much, nearly as much as I was hoping for, but I did get a handle on a few bigger chores that were kind of holding themselves over me. So I'm happy that I did take that day off and didn't do anything. I did a little bit of editing. I didn't stream anything. I barely played any games. When Xmas came over just to hang out and chat, we ended up loading up Jottunslayer Hordes of Hel. That game that I played, that I talked about on the podcast last week. That's the kind of roguelite horde survival game. a la Vampire Survivors or Hololive or, the dozens of other Vampire Survivor clones out there. A bullet heaven is what it sometimes called. We ended up unlocking with Xmas. He played a majority of it, and as I was just doing chores around the house while we were chit-chatting. But I think we sunk a good 6 to 7 hours into that game. And it was... I think I'm seeing a lot of the limitations in that game compared to others. And I see that it's not as deep as I might have hoped. Its shtick is that as you go through, you can unlock, or you're acquiring gold as you play through the levels, and that gold gets then converted into skill points, which works okay. Because those skill points you then invest into either the individual characters that you get to play, or you invest in the individual gods to upgrade them. And I guess upgrading the gods doesn't feel as good as it does in Vampire Survivors. In Vampire Survivors, you had very, very basic upgrades that pertained just to you overall. It wasn't itemized out to the specific gods or to the specific player characters, as far as I remember. And I guess I don't like the individual choices that you have in Jottunslayer Hordes of Hel. I think after a while, you're going to be making the characters too broken, if that makes sense. In a good Vampire Survivors game, a Horde Survivor game, you want to feel broken by the end of it, but I think with the upgrade systems that are in the game for the individual characters, I think you can feel broken way too early in the game. You want to feel broken, obviously, after a certain point. Like when you get a upgrade up to its max level, that's going to be really amazing. That was evident in Vampire Survivors. When you get like Garlic up to level 6, Garlic starts off as, it's okay, but it gets outclassed really quickly. But then Garlic at level 6 is like, holy crap, it's amazing. And then you synergize that, and it's like, oh my god, this is super amazing. And by the time you get to that point, you're already about 15. You're halfway through, if not 3/4 of the way through that level. So you don't spend too much time at that max level of just being completely broken. In Hordes of Hel, I think you get to that point way too quickly due to the upgrades. So that is an unfortunate thing. Also, the characters don't feel super, from what I was seeing, and what I played a little bit myself with my hands on Saturday, the characters didn't feel as unique as I would have hoped. And the different upgrades, there were definitely better upgrades than others, and you definitely feel like you want to lean more towards certain gods than others. And certain gods are just like, I'll say this right now, like Loki, I don't think I would ever choose to upgrade Loki other than his passives that he gives to characters. His benefits, I don't feel like I mesh really well with them, versus like the Nidhogg upgrades. For those, I mean, you get Ray of Sickness, and Ray of Sickness is doing, just incredible stuff at every single level you get it. It's insane. But I feel like it shows its hand really, really quickly, and there's a seemingly wide berth of things to see, but none of those things are necessarily deep enough to make me want to stay with them. So that was Hordes of Hel. I would still say it's pretty enjoyable. Not a full price. I think they're asking, like, when they ask full price for this game, I think it's like a $30 to $40 game. I would say it's worth about $10. I think it's overpriced at full price. If you can get it on a really good sale, get it then. If you can get on a moderate sale and you really are just jonesing for a decent, like not an amazing, but a decent survivor, Horde survivor, I think you could do worse than Hordes of Hel. It's a good 2-star game. It's a good 2-star game. And then the only other game that I really touched was I restarted my my campaign in Space Marine 2. That was one of the games that I had purchased that I talked about last week. When I first rolled into Space Marine 2's campaign, it was not super amazing because I felt completely I had no idea what to do. It had been months since the last time I played. I only played for about an hour or hour and a half of actual gameplay in that trial that I had. And it's a harsh game to be thrown into the middle of a major combat encounter when you barely remember how to really play the game. Like, I wasn't aware, and having replayed the beginning and seeing the tutorial again, I had forgotten that health isn't regenerating, it's your armor that regenerates. So you want to be focusing on melee counters. Whereas last week, I was trying to shoot more than what you really should be doing in that game. I wasn't focusing too much on melee. I was dodging out of the way instead of parrying. And I was staying in the fight, which means my armor's taking hits, and I'm not doing anything to regenerate that armor. Now that I know how to really be playing that game, I think I'm going to have a lot better of a time. But unfortunately, it's just been a pretty hectic last 5 days since I last recorded a podcast. So I haven't gotten the opportunity to play too much. So yeah, it's just really been Builderment, Hordes of Hel, Jottunslayer, and a little bit of Space Marine 2. But I'm saying, like, I played another half hour of Space Marine 2, so barely anything. In terms of other media, I watched a couple of movies, and I can't remember half of them. I mean, these were movies I would just, like, after work, turn on something and then just veg out. So it's no movies I was really paying attention to, except one. I watched movie because it had Walter Goggins in it. I haven't started Fallout season 2 yet on Amazon Prime. I'm kind of waiting until there's more episodes. That way I can binge a couple at a time instead of seeing one, enjoying it, waiting a week, and have nothing else, and then new one pops out and then watch that. I kind of want to watch like 2 or 3 at its time and then report back on it. But yeah, haven't started that, but I did watch a Walter Goggins joint, and that was Fatman. Boy. Fatman's an interesting Christmas movie. It's weird. It's you have Mel Gibson playing the titular Santa Claus, and Walter Goggins is like this mercenary for hire who has a beef with Santa Claus, but like he's not really going after Santa Claus. The main person that is going after Santa Claus is a freaking shit ass little kid that looks like he looks like a young Ben Shapiro. The kid from Fatman looks like a really young Ben Shapiro. It's weird as hell, but it's hilarious. There's a great scene where so the premise of the movie is that this young kid is like this just shitbag of a like 12-year-old, and Santa sees that, so he's on the naughty list, so he gets coal. And he doesn't like that. He's always the best. He's always amazing at everything. So he hires Walter Goggins. You see his character really play out because in the beginning, he's going to a science fair and he takes second place. So he has Walter Goggins kidnap the first place child who beat him at the science fair. And then he like intimidates her with like a car battery. Like, Shock is like, I'm gonna fucking electrocute you, bitch, if you don't resign and tell the school board that, oh, I cheated and not give me first place. So it was like, holy shit, this guy's a shitbag. He's got such, for a 12-year-old, he's got a great look at being a shitbag. Maybe it's just the look of looking like Ben Shapiro, but man, they chose right for the character right there. Walter Goggins, though, then goes up to see Santa Claus. Santa Claus, meanwhile, is having a rough year because there's less kind kids, so he's delivering less presents. And apparently, he's being subsidized by the U.S. government. Santa Claus is subsidized by the U.S. government. And because he didn't deliver enough gifts, the subsidy check isn't enough to cover expenses. It's so stupid. So the U.S. government hires Santa Claus on a contract basis to make weapons. But it's not like they're making AK-47s and like grenades. They're making circuit boards for the U.S. government's drones. It's so weird. So you have all these elves, and there's a great scene where like the U.S. commanders in like the cafeteria with the elves, and they're sharing, a meal. But all the elves are eating is just all like cakes, cookies. They literally have a bowl of sugar that they're just like white sugar that they're ladling on top of everything. It looks like, diabetes 3 is about to be evolved here. And the commander just goes like, what you guys need, I think it's dietary why you guys are so short. You need fiber, protein, carbohydrates. And like the help there is just like, it's like, we take breaks. We take a 20-minute, every elf gets a 20-minute nap after 16 hours, and we can work peak efficiency 24/7 because we eat simple carbs like sugars. It's fucking hilarious. But so Walter Goggins descends onto Santa's facility in Fatman and just starts blows it up. He has a shootout with Mel Gibson's Santa Claus, and Walter Goggins ends up shooting Santa in the head. Is that what happened? Yes, he ends up shooting Santa Claus in the head, and oh my God, you think he just killed Santa Claus? Like, Santa Claus has been shown to have like an insane healing factor, but you see Walter Goggins stand over Santa Claus and pull the trigger, so Santa's fucking dead. And then he sees Mrs. Claus, who shoots at Walter Goggins, the mercenary. So Walter Goggins is, of course, like, I'm gonna go kill that bitch now. And he goes into the house, and then gets shot in the back by Mrs. Claus. And you're like, does this movie end with Walter Goggins dying and Mel Gibson dying as Santa Claus, and the only survivor is Mrs. Claus? Holy shit. No, turns out that Santa Claus is now back with a vengeance, has one eye, and he's got a scab all over his eye that got shot out. Apparently he didn't get shot directly in the head. He got shot in the eye by Walter Goggins' character. And the ending scene is him going to the house of the shitbag kid that hired Walter Goggins to go kill him. And he is like, you do better, because remember, Santa Claus has his eye on you. And it's like, what the fuck is going on here? It's fucking hilarious. It is fucking hilarious. Fatman. It's not a great movie. Fatman's far from a great movie, but it's a fantastic watch if you've had a couple beers in you. But yeah, aside from that's pretty much been all of the games that I've played and all the content that I've watched. So I guess we'll go on to news. First thing of news is from automatonmedia.com. Apparently, Granblue Fantasy is set to have an official global release come March 10th, 2026. This is their actual global release outside of Asia, outside of the East, of their mobile game, Granblue Fantasy. This game originally came out in 2014 and had an English patch in 2016, but was unavailable outside of Japanese e-stores. So this marks 10 years later, basically, an official Western release with a PC client coming to Steam. It has been noted that if you had a previous account for Granblue Fantasy, that you cannot bring that progress of that account over to the Western release. And it's actually Japanese people, the Japanese market won't be able to officially move their accounts to the official desktop release. It's weird. It is really weird. They're doing an official redesign of the game's interface to replace the original vertical phone interface to be a full 16:9 workup, kind of like Uma Musume, I think. It's real weird. It's a game 12 years old, and they're finally saying, you know what I think we should do, boss? I think we should put Granblue Fantasy out to the Americans. I think they'll pay us money for it. It's like, yeah, we probably would. We probably would have paid you a lot more money if it was a lot newer, though, instead of 10 years old. Like, goddamn. It's so funny. And the only other piece of news that I saw was actually pretty recent, coming from Video Game Chronicle. CD Projekt is selling GOG. And they're saying that it is going to very good hands. The good hands being that of co-founder and major shareholder Michael Kaczynski. Or is it Mikkel? Machal. Michael is buying GOG for $25.2 million. And they're saying that this sale will allow CD Projekt to focus on game development and not have to worry about running this the storefront GOG. So honestly, this is about as good of news. It sounds like it's pretty much restructuring, but Michael was already a it sounds like I don't know if he was a co-founder. Let me see if I can see on this article. I don't know if he was a co-founder of GOG or if he was a co-founder of... No, he was a co-founder of CD Projekt. Yeah. And he's a major shareholder as well. So Michael Kaczynski is purchasing 100% of the shares in GOG for 90.7 million Polish dollars, which translates to 25.2 million US dollars. I think it's a good sale. I know that CD Projekt, is it still called CD Projekt Red, or is it just CD Projekt now? It's been said that they want to expand and double down on their game development. So maybe restructuring and putting GOG to the side will actually allow them to put games out at a faster rate and hopefully at a increased quality with less bugs than their two previous titles of The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077. I'm pretty sure they've done other stuff, but those are the two biggest games, of course. And that is the podcast. Fairly simple podcast. That is the thing when I don't have anything to talk about in terms of games or shows or movies, and when I don't have a host. Very, very quick podcast, as always. You know what? I don't have it in front of me, but maybe I can log in to the email account. One moment. Going to gmail.com. If you have a question or a something that you want to send to the show for me to read on air, you can send it to snarfpod, snarfpod at gmail.com. That is snarfpod at gmail.com. One moment. Well, that is apparently not the password. That's the password. I forgot the correct capitalization. Skip all this stuff. Not now. Just let me go to my Gmail. Yep. Nothing new for the podcast. So, again, if you want to send a email for me to read or answer, if you have a question or anything, let me know in the by emailing snarfpod at gmail.com. I will read it on the podcast. With nothing else here, though, we can close it out. Thank you guys for coming over here. If you're seeing this live on Twitch, I see that my YouTube did not go live. I hate that. Lovely. And I'll see you guys next week with hopefully more to talk about. Have a great one, y'all.